Looks like we're live. We are. Hip, hip, hooray. Cool, we're live. Welcome, everybody. My name's Luke. Well, today we're going to be talking about some stuff. I do have some videos I want to show you. 2 videos, stuff in the news, things going on now. And we'll just sort of talk through what the videos are about. One, you can get a sense for what's going on here in America with all this stuff happening. And also, we'll talk about some of the words and phrases that they're using. Because in English, it's an English live class. But also, we are doing a Q&A. So if you're here live, great, ask questions. And if not, join next time. We do these pretty often these days. In particular, come, join, ask questions. Make sure when you join, make sure you hit the like button. That is much appreciated. It's like... To me, it's almost better than coffee. Like buttons, I can't express how much I like the like button. I like it a lot. If the like button had a like button, I'd hit the like button on the like button. And if this coffee had a like button, I'd hit the like button on this cup of coffee. And if you think that this live stream is okay, then you should hit the like button on this live stream. All right, enough about that. Also, make sure you subscribe and make sure that you check out the links in the description. A couple links. I'll just say what they are. Number 1, there's the WhatsApp group. If you're not in the WhatsApp group, I don't know what to say. It's sad. That's a sad thing. Me and my dinosaur feel sad for you. You should join the WhatsApp group, right, Dinosaur? That's right. You should join the WhatsApp group. It's great. See? Dinosaur agrees. I think so. So, first link in the description. That's the WhatsApp group. Why does it exist? Because it's fun. Oh, because it's fun. And no other reason. But, what do we do in the WhatsApp group, Dinosaur? Talk about stuff. Oh. Okay, well, that's useful. Thank you. You can stand here and please don't drink any of my coffee, or else I'll be very upset, Dinosaur. He has a name, but I don't want to tell you guys. He asked me not to share his name because, well, he's afraid that someone's going to come to his house and throw eggs at him or something like that. And the other links are my courses. Now, I think that Udemy is doing a sale right now, so you can check that out. If not, there's usually a sale. I usually do regular sales, so keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on it. Okay. Hey, we got some people here. We got Terry, Anderson, Luba, and who else do we have? Roland, Sleepwalker's here. Hip, hip, hooray. Very good. Let me just pop the link to this into the old WhatsApp group, and then we'll get started. Hey, guys, live stream happening now. Link. Please join. It's very, very, what should I say? Very what? What is very what? I just delete it. I don't need to say anything else. If people want to join, they can join. If not, then they won't. That's fine. I'm okay with it. Whatever. So as I said earlier, and when I say we, I mean me and this dinosaur, we have some videos to watch. I want to show you some videos, and I want to answer any questions that you have, and we'll just sort of hang out and chat and whatever. Hooray, we're live. That's right, Anderson. I know I always say that. I don't know why. I apologize. I'm sorry. Sorry for how I say things. I'm so repetitive. It's very sad. I can see my books are in view. I didn't mean for my books to be in view because I read some pretty weird books in my own time. Crap. Let's see what we got here. My books. This is the I Ching. Ancient Chinese astrological stuff. A little bit more complicated than astrological, certainly, but very interesting. Interesting. We have this, which is, I think, really cool. It's called the Book of Symbols. And it's just symbols in mythologies and cultures. It's a huge book. It's not a book that you read through. It's more of a book that you reference, right? So let's see here. Coyote. Teeth bared. Necktie loosened. As if at the end of a long, hot day. Yeah, so this sort of talks about symbols in mythology, and you can get a sense for what things mean. If you see an arm in mythology, what does it mean? It's a cool book. This is what a book I've been reading recently. What else do I have? This is just the stuff that's near me. I don't want to talk about this one. It's embarrassing. What about this one? Okay, this is Mircea Eliade, and I'm not sure if that's how exactly his name is pronounced, but this is called The Myth of the Eternal Return, and this is philosophy/anthropology about previous cultures and a little bit about shamanism and about the changes in human culture over time. Very interesting. Yeah, that's the stuff I'm looking at these days. Anyway, welcome, guys. Jacqueline Evans Lopez says, what do you think is the most important, grammar or fluency? All right, so Jacqueline, it's a good question. It's a good question, but I would like to say why it's a good question. How do I? Okay. So Jacqueline Evans Lopez says, what do you think is most important, grammar or fluency? And the first thing we have to do before we answer that question is try to figure out if we can separate those two things. Because grammar is how we piece sentences together. Grammar is what sticks words to each other, essentially. It is where words go. It's the order that they go in the sentence. It's, if something is in the past, how we change words. It's the marks that we use in a sentence to make it clear what we're saying or what we're not saying. Grammar is not pronunciation, so we don't have to really consider that so much, but it is really the structure of the sentence, how sentences are formed, and all of the rules and things that go into forming them. Now, the best way to learn grammar, in my opinion, is through example. So if you want to learn grammar, you have to study lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of sentences. You have to look at the pieces. You have to try to make your own. And you have to sort of understand things intuitively by looking at real sentences out there. Now, grammar books, some of them do this. Some of them only focus on here's a rule and here's a rule and here's a rule. And then maybe, by the way, here's a sentence. Here's an example, by the way. I don't really like this way. The human brain is able to recognize grammar on its own. And so if you look at enough examples and you practice enough and you're really studying it carefully, you'll get it, even if you don't know what to call it. Grammar books tend to emphasize the names of things. What is this called? Oh, that's called a past participle, okay? Or whatever it is. And so that's the issue I have with it. It focuses on the names and explaining it, as opposed to look at all these examples, figure it out and use it. As long as you can do that, you're good. Because if I asked 100 native English speakers, what is a past participle? 99.9, I don't know what a 0.1 person is. 0.1 person is very small. But most people will say, I have no idea. They don't know. So that's a long way to say, if you don't know grammar, you can't be fluent. Because fluency, kind of a general word, is the ability to use language well, especially spoken language. So if you are a fluent English speaker, what does that mean? It means that when you open your mouth to speak English, the right things come out. Yes, it also means that your pronunciation is good. It means that the words are flowing from word to word, right? The tone is right, the intonation is right. It sounds natural, but part of that naturalness is your ability to piece the sentence together smoothly. If you're making lots of mistakes, you're using the past tense incorrectly, you should be using the past perfect tense, but you're not using the past perfect tense, or you're trying to use the past perfect tense, but you accidentally use the present perfect continuous tense or something like that. Don't worry about what things are called, right? Well, then you're not fluent. You're not using it correctly. So I don't exactly know what the line between fluency and grammar is. I don't know if we can separate those things. I would say that fluency contains grammar and that you can't be fluent without it. That's what I would say. Now, that doesn't mean you have to know all the words. And as I said, native English speakers who are fluent in English don't know what those things are called, but they use them and they use them correctly. Right? I went my entire life until I was 23 years old without knowing most grammatical words. And then I became an English teacher, and I had to use them because students would ask me, "Hey, what's this?" And I would say, "I don't know. I don't know. Let me look it up." And I said, "Oh, it's called that. Oh, I know that." Then I could explain it to them, and they'd say, "Oh, okay." And then I would say, "By the way, it's called this." Oh, okay. So really, for me, learning grammar was just learning what things were called as a teacher, right? Whereas for students, they often know the names of the grammar, but they don't understand the grammar. That's the kind of the dilemma. So learn lots of examples, learn grammar, yes, but learn by example, and that is part of your fluency, which is also made up of pronunciation, right? Your ability to jump between words, your ability to pull up the words that you need at the right time, and other things as well. So I hope that answers your question. It's a good question. I'm glad you asked it. Very good. Guys, I know that new people are joining, so make sure you hit the like button, please, and thank you. We would appreciate if you do that. It means a lot to us. To hit the like button, subscribe, and check out the links in the description. That's where the courses are. Jacqueline again says, could you please provide me a piece of advice about how can I improve grammar? I'm using English and I have issues. Well, as I mentioned there, examples. Read a book. Pick up a book. Read it. Look at every sentence. Use each sentence as your grammar teacher. Okay. Now, I am working on a grammar course, which is by example, but there are many ways to learn grammar. You just have to expose yourself to a lot of it and get a feel for it, if that makes sense. Luke, do you use the expression cheek the jowl? No, I do not. Do you do the live stream? Can you do the live stream a bit earlier? No, I can't. Sorry. I'd say communication is the most important. Doesn't matter if you make a mistake or spoken in 2 minutes, one simple phrase. Well, it depends on what your goals are. That is one very important thing. If you don't know what your goals are, you don't know what you're working toward. Some people have the goal of speaking without making mistakes. If that's your goal, then you need to make steps toward that. If you don't care about that and you're just trying to survive at work, then maybe you should be learning vocabulary related to your job. You don't care about fluency and being perfect. You just want to make sure you understand all the words and you're using them correctly. That's your goal. I'm not here to tell anybody what their goal is. And your goal should tell you how you should be studying. The goal first, and then what you do to reach the goal. If you don't have a goal, then you take one step in one direction, one step in another direction, and you're kind of walking around randomly. Now, you can improve your English by walking around randomly, but isn't it better if you're going toward a specific goal that you take steps in one direction so that you can actually reach some point in the future, right? So first you have a goal because that gives you a guiding star to walk toward as you walk forward. Otherwise, you're just sort of randomly walking around, if that makes sense. Azad says, hi, beautiful people. And dinosaur. Please, don't forget about that. Okay, so a couple things. Well, I want to show you guys a couple videos just because there's stuff in the news, right? So I want to show you some things that are in the news. So we're going to look at a couple videos as we go along. I will be answering questions, but we will be looking at a couple videos. So I'm going to put on my big headphones, and I have two videos that I want to show you. First one is something, this is here I am in New York. We're kind of at the center of the stuff going on with the virus. So the news is about that. If you know something about the United States, you probably have heard of Congress. Congress is composed of two different branches, the Senate and the House of Representatives. Congress is the group in the department, the branch of the government that makes the laws. That's what Congress is. Recently, they passed a law. It's called a stimulus, but it's also called a recovery bill, or sometimes a disaster relief bill. Okay? So what happened was, we're in this bad situation. If you work for an airline, you might have lost your job. Many people lost their jobs. 3.3 billion people applied for what's called unemployment. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. And so the government has to do something. If you have 3 billion people at home unable to work, and they want to work, and they can't pay their rent, can't pay their bills, that's a disaster. That will have terrible economic consequences in the future, even now, right? Also, small businesses are suffering. They have to close. If you have to close, but you also are trying to pay your workers, you run out of money very quickly. Some big businesses also. Also, you have the health crisis going on. Hospitals need money. They need equipment. They need all kinds of stuff to take care of patients, tests, all that stuff. So, the government recently just passed this, what's called a bill, a law. It's a bill. And that is to provide over $2 billion to try to fix as much as possible. People are getting money directly, including apparently me, I think. Get money. Actually receive a check in the mail, or maybe it's going to be online. I'm not sure how it's going to come. But they're sending out money. They're doing unemployment insurance better, giving more people unemployment insurance payments during this time, and a bunch of other stuff. So we'll quickly watch the video, get your questions ready, and I'm going to also be talking about it a little bit, okay? So if you do have questions about it as you're watching it, just leave them in the comments. Leave your questions in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. All right, so here we go. We're going to watch this. You ready?
I'm proud to announce tonight not a single senator voted against this $2 trillion rescue bill to save American individuals, small businesses, large businesses, and to provide considerable funding for the healthcare workers and the scientists and the doctors and others who are trying to solve this pandemic. So I think if I were writing your headline, I'd say the Senate has pivoted from one of the most contentious, partisan periods in the nation's history to passing this rescue package 100-0.
Catch my breath. This is a good ending. The twists and turns were enormous. There were some down moments, but as you know, those of you who kept asking me, are we going to get a bill? I always had faith we would, because America and the American people demanded it. I said on the floor, this illness is so different and difficult. And so when we passed this bill on the floor of the Senate, we didn't hug each other, we just waved from a distance.
Oh, man. I was on mute. I muted. Sorry, guys. I know you can hear me now. Sorry about that. So I don't know how much of that you guys could understand, but basically what was going on there was two people who are in the Senate. Okay? Now, the Senate is a smaller group than the House of Representatives. There are two groups in Congress, and the Senate is made up of 100 members, 2 per state. That's the Senate. And it's more powerful, generally considered to be more powerful than the House of Representatives, even though it has fewer members, sort of like the power is condensed a little bit, right? And so what they've done is pass what's called a stimulus. They're calling it a stimulus package. Again, it's called a bill. It has lots of different names. Passed means what? Well, that means that it was voted on and approved. Now, this is, you might think, oh, yeah, of course, duh. Well, no problem. Well, this is a big deal because Congress, especially the Senate, they're famous for not passing things because they don't have enough votes on either side. Too many yeses, too many nos. And it's sort of locked, we say, a deadlock, which means things can't move forward. Here, you've heard the word unanimous. Now, the first guy who walks out, his name is Mitch McConnell. He is a Republican, famous for stopping things and not allowing things to pass. He's announcing a unanimous passage of this stimulus package. Package means it's a group of things together. Stimulus is to stimulate. To stimulate is to hopefully encourage activity, economic activity, activity among workers maybe, or at least the ability to buy things at the supermarket during a difficult time. So to stimulate, it's called a stimulus package, sometimes a recovery package. You could call it either thing. Okay, so McConnell, the Republican, comes out and announces that the bill has passed unanimously. Unanimous, what does that mean? Everybody agreed. Everyone said yes. Everyone voted yes. That's amazing, first of all. We could say it's unprecedented. Now, McConnell, is the majority leader. That means that in his party in the Senate, there are more in his party in the Senate. Then the next guy, who is actually one of my senators, because I live in New York, Chuck Schumer, he is the minority leader. Actually, the Democrats on his side, that's a smaller group in the Senate. So the majority is the Republicans, minority, so majority, minority is the Democrats. Okay, that means it's a smaller group in the Senate. Then he gave his remarks. He said there are twists and turns. What does that mean, twists and turns? That means that sometimes things go this way, sometimes things go that way, meaning during this process of trying to pass this stupid thing, well, it's not stupid, but the process probably felt frustrating sometimes. During this process, they're debating, and it looks like it's going to fail, and then it looks like people are getting in the way, and it looks like so many different things are possibly going to go wrong. So we say twists and turns. We can use that phrase. There were so many twists and turns in this process. I wasn't sure how it was going to come out. Finally, we were successful. Finally, we passed it unanimously. So twists and turns. Now, you also heard him talk about the floor. Why are they talking about the floor? Well, actually, there is a floor, a lower level in the Senate, in this large thing called the Senate chamber. And the senators sit around in fancy leather chairs, and they debate. But when they're talking at the ground level, they have the floor, right? They pass it on the floor. That's where they vote. So yes, it is a floor, but it also has another meaning. That is the important place where they go to vote. So you'll hear often the Senate floor. That's where the action happens. That's where the speeches happen. That's where the votes happen. They go up and they put in their vote. So those are the common words that you heard. The last one I want to mention quickly is contentious. Contentious. Contentious means that a lot of people are debating, a lot of people are disagreeing, say, you're wrong, I think this, and you think that. And so that's contentious. There's a lot of debate and argument happening. It's very contentious. You can be a contentious person, but you can also be in sort of a contentious situation, a process, like in this case, with the stimulus package or the recovery plan can be contentious as well. So hopefully those words are clear. Now, as far as the results of this, basically, it's to help out individuals, to give people money, to help out people who are unemployed, unemployment insurance, to help some large corporations get help, borrow money, and also to help hospitals and small businesses. So it's pretty big, and it's $2 billion. Or no, $1 trillion. I said billion. That's a tiny amount. $2 trillion, which is a crazy amount of money. I wish I had $1 trillion. I would buy a $1 trillion golden boat. So hopefully that's clear. And guys, if you haven't, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe and check out the links in the description as well. Okay. Any questions about that? Oh, Luba, thank you so much for the super chat. Wow, a super chat. Hey, a super chat. What do you think about that? That's great. I love it. Love super chats. Well, thank you, Dinosaur. I appreciate that. Dinosaur likes it. Luba, were you on Skype conversation with Luke that time? Yeah, so here's something I was going to mention about the... You guys hear that? Ambulances. There are constantly ambulances going by. It's really crazy. So, it's okay, Potter. Better late than never, as they say. If you guys have any questions about the that video of Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer talking, let me know. I'm happy to answer any questions. It's an interesting process. So, it's a mess in a nutshell. Congress needs to work together. I live in New York. They do, and they did. So I guess that's a good thing. I guess that's positive. I'm looking at your look at Raiza's picture here. Let's just admire that. That is perfect. The yellow tint feels like it feels right now in New York. If you live in New York, right now, as of right now, we have 37,000 cases in New York. So it feels like there's sort of a gloomy yellow haze, apocalyptic feeling going on right now. Just like that picture. That's how I feel. Are you guys interested in taking a look at the actual numbers? So there's a website that I use. It's if you guys are interested, it is worldometers.info. Worldometers.info. And if you want, we could just quickly take a look at the numbers, just to do it. What do you think? You guys want to just take a quick look? I mean, it's depressing, but I would rather us all be depressed instead of just me and Raiza. I think it's better if we share the depression among ourselves. Okay, so I'm going to pop this over to, let's see if I can do this. How do I do it? Does that work? Do that? Okay. All right, so here we go. Let's expand this a little bit. There we go. Okay. So, who's better, Trump or Obama? Why are they asking me this? I don't know. Okay, so is there a way for me to just show? Hold on a second, guys. I'm still figuring out my own thing. So here we go. Yes, just show that. You guys don't need to see the other apps I'm using. No. Okay, so right now in the United States, why don't we step back first? Let's go to the world. Let's go to the world first. Births this year, 32 million. Whoa, that's a lot of births. Oh, and now there's more. Crazy. Well, there are more. Crazy. There are more. Crazy. I could do that for days. Look at how many people have died today. Isn't that crazy? You really want to know how big the world is. You have to look at numbers like this for an hour and just watch them change. And then you realize how big the world is. This is how many people are being born by the second. This is how many people are... I'm going to zoom in here for you guys. This is how many people are dying by the second. That's crazy. births. It's going up that fast. This is how big the world population is growing. Man. That's crazy. All right, it's enough. It's enough. That's enough. It's enough. You can stop there. You don't have to. All right. Well, whatever. All right, so let's go to coronavirus updates. Coronavirus updates. Coronavirus cases. 510,646. Deaths. 23,079. Crazy. Recovered, that's hopeful. 122,245. Again, this is worldometer.info. This is the one that I've been using, and I find it to be pretty good. Look at the graph. Look how quickly that goes up. So if I can just explain this for a second. This is basically what happened in China, right? And then the rest of the world started to get it, but then the cases started to pause or slow down in China, and so that caused the graph to flatten. But now it's speeding up in the rest of the world, for example, in the United States and New York, and so it's going, it's speeding up now. So that's what you have to keep an eye on. Now we're almost at 500,000 cases, and that is just the cases that we test, not the cases that are actually there. So in fact, it's probably way over 1 million. Who knows exactly how many, but it's certainly more than this. Absolutely more than that. All right, now let's take a look. I'm not trying to depress anybody, but I'm just trying to share my own depression. Okay, so Italy now has as many cases of this as pretty much as China totally got. Now you can see that China is really slowing down. Apparently, their new cases are coming from other countries, and because their new cases are coming from other countries, they're realizing, well, maybe we should stop people coming from other countries. Starting on, I think, the 28th or the 30th of this month, they're going to stop all people from coming from other countries, even if they have a visa. So I have a Chinese visa. If I go to China right now, I can, but pretty soon, if I try to go to China, they'll say, no, sorry, you can't come in, which honestly makes sense. Now, this is the truly crazy number. The number of people who have passed away in Italy is insane. It's unbelievable. 8,000 people. 8,000 people. More than double what China had. And now, very quickly, the United States is getting up there as well. Just yesterday, we were, quite a lot lower, I think 700, and now we're over 1,000 people. We have 7,000 new cases. And when I show you New York, you're going to realize how serious it is. This is where I live in Queens. So I'm going to click on the USA here and go down to, let's take a look at New York. Exactly. Rolfie says the situation has escalated quickly. All right, now we'll take a look at New York here. And we have total cases. This is just, again, this is not actually the total cases. You have to know that tests are always behind. You can't test everyone. Not possible. And so you can't know exactly how many cases you have. So I multiply this by at least 5. So it's got to be way more than this. There are probably 500,000 cases in New York City, I would guess. Maybe more. Who knows for sure. This many new cases and this many people have passed away, died. When I checked it this morning, it was under 300. Now it has passed 300. And it is going to go up, up, up. Unfortunately, it's very sad. It's terrible. But it's quite scary, honestly. I hear sirens all the time, ambulances. I'm hearing that hospitals are overburdened. I'm hearing that they don't have enough equipment. They don't have enough masks, gowns. They don't have enough ventilators, which are machines. And so New York is really the center right now. New York and Italy, I would say, are the main centers, and it's quite scary. I have not gone outside in 3 days now. I haven't left my house because it's getting so serious that I'm afraid to walk out of my house. I have plenty of food. I have plenty of coffee. I have plenty of stuff at home, so I'm good. but it's still pretty scary, honestly. So that's where we are with the numbers. 37,258. Wow, that's crazy. So anyway, if you want to keep track of this by yourself, if you want to watch it, I think it's good to know what's going on. I know it's a little depressing. I'm using this one. It's called World-O-Meter. I think it's pretty good because it's live. It's always updating. They show their sources. They have multiple sources, and so you can generally consider it to be pretty reliable. But I think it's pretty good. I'll pop it into the live chat here, in case anyone wants to check their own place. Anyway, sorry if I depressed everybody, but that's the situation. Thanks for hitting the like button, and again, thanks for the super chats. I appreciate that. I really do. All right, gonna go back to me now. How do I do it? Like that. Okay. All right, guys. Well, again, I'm here to answer English questions you might have, culture questions, living in New York questions now, pronunciation questions, grammar questions, whatever questions you might have, I can answer them. I do have another video to show you, and I did want to mention something. So I don't know if you guys were here on Tuesday, but Luba and she's from Russia. She and I did a call on Skype because she's a very serious English learner, and it was, I think, very interesting. And I think I got a lot of comments that was useful for people. People liked to hear from her, someone who has a lot of experience as a language learner. So I would like to do one-to-one calls with people in these live streams. But I don't want to do random chit-chat, if that makes sense. I want to do more like an interview. So if you feel that you have something that you'd like to talk about or share that will benefit other people, language learners, for example, I was talking with someone about someone who works in customer service. A lot of people want to know about what that's like, doing English customer service. If you feel that there is something that you do or something that is relevant to others, and you think that's something that you'd like to talk about, then I might be interested in interviewing you for maybe 10 or 15 minutes as a call, because I want that to benefit other people. I want people to learn from that. So I'm not saying I'm going to interview everybody who says they have something to share, but if you think you do, send me a private message on WhatsApp, and we can talk about it. And if I say, maybe not, please don't hate me, right? So I'm just I want to share what's useful to everybody. And I think the conversation that Luba and I had was very interesting, and she shared a lot of valuable stuff, and especially the part about, having confidence and pushing past your shyness. Really important stuff. So if you feel like you want to share something, just message me on WhatsApp. We can talk about it. And then maybe we can set that up, and that would be very cool if we can do that. That's the best way I know to do it. I thought about doing group calls, and maybe we'll do that in the future, but also I think group calls could become kind of a mess, so just kind of chaos. So I would like to do more one-to-one. You have to be brave. Brave people. What about me? I'm brave. I do live streams with my dinosaur. All right. I think I might have missed a couple questions here. What about Mushroom? Is she still working out there? Yeah, Mushroom is working right now. She's in her office. I'm in my office, and she's in her office. Luba says Russia closed all borders for flights from all countries. That's probably a smart move. It's probably a good idea. Okay, no other questions then right now? Well, in that case, I have another video I want to show you. Hello, Gertie. It's going very well. How are you? It's good to see you. I want to put on my headphones again because I have another video to show you. You love polite English. I love polite English too. I like polite English. I don't know about love. I like it. Okay, let's check out a video by... Now, this one might be a little harder for you guys to understand. So be patient. I'm going to show it. It's 4 minutes long. We'll watch it, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. So let me just set up this video. If you don't know Cardi B is a hip-hop musician, and I guess you could say she's a rapper, and she's a good one, very interesting person. She's actually a pretty smart lady, and she has been one of the important figures, I think, in culture, in American culture, for raising awareness about the pandemic. She has done a good job. Now, it's kind of interesting that it's her, because people don't consider her to be someone who's serious. You know, they don't consider her to be someone who's thinking about the common good, right? Maybe because of her music, who knows? But she has been. One of the things that I find very interesting about the video that I'm going to show you is that she's wearing a mask. A lot of people, even now in America, look at someone wearing a mask and go, "Oh, you must be sick." I was one of the first people I saw in New York wearing a mask. I always wear a mask when I go out these days. Now more and more people are. But when I first started doing it, people would look at me like I was the weirdo. I was the sick one. Actually, no, I'm trying to protect myself from you, right? That's a fact. In Asia, people put on a mask when they don't feel well to protect others from themselves, but also people put on a mask to protect themselves. So it's much more normalized. For example, in China, in Japan, if you see someone wearing a mask, no big deal. But in America, if you see someone wearing a mask, it's not normalized. It's like, oh no, they might be sick. They could pass it to me. I better be careful. I think that's unhealthy in this situation, the pandemic situation. So the video I'm going to show you, Cardi B is wearing a mask, and I think she's doing it because she's trying to normalize it, which I think is pretty cool. So the video is 4 minutes long. Let's watch the video, and then we will talk about it.
Hey guys, so I just want to do this video, right? Long ass motherfucking video, and let y'all motherfuckers know something, right? Sometimes I get on my live and I be talking my crazy shit, you know, entertaining my fans, and people might just take what I say and just run with it and say what the fuck it is or not. And I really want to let these celebrities know, why the confusion that the general public have, right? And the questionings that the general public have. Because if number 45 is getting on a podium saying, hey, listen, if you do not have any symptoms of the coronavirus, which is coughing, fever, and whatsoever, etc., do not get tested, because we don't have enough testes to test everybody. But if a celebrity is saying, hey, listen, I don't have no symptoms, I'm feeling good, I feel healthy, I don't feel like nothing, but I went and got tested and I'm positive for the coronavirus, that caused confusion. That made people be like, well, wait a minute now, I don't have no symptoms, but I know I went out this and that day. Shit, I might just have it. Shit, I'm scared because I'm around my kid, I'm around my grandparent. What should I do? And let me tell you something. The general public, people that work regular jobs, people that get regular paychecks, the middle class, the, you know, poor, whatever the crap, they're not getting treated like the high, you know, the ones that up here, like celebrities and everything. They're not getting their fucking coronavirus results the next day. That's one. The coronavirus is very much real. That's first thing first. And let me tell you something. If you're under 30, right? If you're under 30, because I know somebody that's under 30 has a cold, and they told them if your cold is not for 8 days, you cannot get tested. So you gotta be sick for 8 days if you're under 30, so you could be eligible of getting a fucking coronavirus test. Now, if you're like in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and you're having a cold, they're going to test you right away. However, your test results will come in 4 days. And let me tell you something. They tell you this. If you are positive for the coronavirus, they will tell you to quarantine in your home and come back on if your fever goes 100 and some shit degrees. And I do not feel like that's right, because it's like, if you're positive for the coronavirus, but you don't have a crazy fever, but you have a cold, and you're sending people home, I don't know. where do they think they're sending people home to? Not everybody have the luxury to go in a fucking bedroom and to go in a big ass house and just stay away from people. People live in small ass apartments. A lot of people live in small ass apartments with multiple people. So it's like, if you sending me home and I have the corona fucking virus, I'm most likely gonna give it to my spouse, my kids, anybody that's around me. And on top of that, a lot of celebrities, y'all have the luxury to pay $34,000 or whatever the fuck it costs to get tested and get treated. A lot of these people, they don't fucking have that money. Some people don't even have enough money to fucking have to fucking afford healthcare. And I feel like all this shit, I feel like for coronavirus treatments, for testing, for all that shit, I feel like the government should take that shit, should charge that shit to the game and not charge people for it, because at the end of the day, this shit could have been prevented when they found out about this shit a couple of months ago and the shit that was doing in China. The fuck? It shouldn't be charging no motherfucking Medicaid, health insurance, none of that shit. This is y'all fault that got in this motherfucking country. Y'all could have been avoided this shit. A month ago, everybody was saying that it's fine. This shit ain't that serious. Now look. Look at that. And that's my point. Bye.
All right. So why is this video interesting? I think she's right on every point, but let me just sort of break it down what she's saying a little bit, and then we'll talk about some of the actual expressions that she's using. First of all, everything is very on point. There are a lot of people in America who are not saying what she's saying. It's kind of amazing to me that she's the one who's right about this stuff, and that still there are people in the government who are misleading or not saying things clearly or giving people false hope. There are still people who are causing confusion in the government, and she's, I think, very clear and very on point. What she's really saying, what she's actually saying is, number one, we should have started doing something about this when we found out it was happening in China. Yes, that's obvious, but we weren't. We waited until it came over here, and then we delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. And so who's responsible to pay for the damage caused? Economic damage, people losing their jobs, people who can't pay for getting a test. Who's responsible? Probably should be the government. That's why I think they're doing this thing where they're starting to send out money and help small businesses. So that's good. She's saying they should be, because they should have taken action much, much earlier. It's not up to people to do that. It's up to the government to act and have a plan. She's also saying, why is it that the testing is easy for rich people and celebrities, but for a common person between age 20, 25, 30, middle class, it's so hard to get a test, even if you don't feel well, even if you have a cold? And she's totally right about that, I think, because if you get the coronavirus and you don't die, you're still passing it to people. You're still part of the problem. And so we need to know if you have it or not so that we can figure out what to do, what's going on. Should we put you in a small room somewhere, right? We need to know that. So why are people who can't afford it, why are people who are not famous not able to get a test? And she's obviously upset about that. She's totally right about that. The other thing I mentioned, look, she's wearing a mask on her face. Most people are not wearing masks. Cardi B is right about that. Masks help. People should be wearing masks. Very, very important, okay? She's also talking about poor people not being able to afford this stuff, that there has to be a way to give people this stuff for free. So you have to be able to go to a doctor without worrying, is this going to cost me $30,000? Is this going to cost me $10,000? People shouldn't have to worry about that, because if they do, if people are worrying, what if I have to pay $20,000? I'll just stay home. I'll be fine. And then they have an emergency and they don't go to the hospital until it's too late. So I think she's absolutely right. And I'm glad that she's talking about this, because a lot of celebrities are kind of afraid to be public about their views, about what they really think, because they're worried that there will be criticism or something. She's not afraid. She's out there saying what she really thinks. She's correct. Luckily, she has a huge following, so hopefully that will influence people. I love that she's wearing a mask. I think that more people should listen to Cardi B. Honestly, I think she's a very, very intelligent person and knows how to get ideas across really well. Now, a couple of specific things that she said that I want to mention very quickly. She says number 45. What is that? We're talking about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the 45th president. Okay, so 45 is Donald Trump. She talks about the general public. What's the general public? Well, it's not really a specific thing, but usually we're talking about common people. If you hear general public, we're talking about common people. Now, you'll also hear in relation to tests, positive, negative. Positive is bad. If someone says you're positive for this disease, you got a test and it's positive. That's not what you want to hear. Positive is a bad thing. That means you have it. The positive result is that you have it. So it's not positive in the whoopee sense. It's positive in the result came up and the answer is yes, as in yes, you've got it. What you want to hear is you're negative. Oh, good. Negative. Oh, that's good. That's good. You want to be negative. You want the results to be negative. Positive, negative. Now, she also says small ass apartments. Why is she using the word ass? Actually, we use the word ass in a lot of phrases like a big ass house, a big ass apartment, a small ass apartment, a tiny ass car, a cheap ass something. So adjective plus ass, then a noun. For example, a cheap ass car. A cheap ass car is a very cheap car. It's just to emphasize it, focus on it, stress it. Okay, so you'll hear that often. It's pretty common. Two other things very quickly. One, quarantine. That's the word that everybody probably knows by now, but just to make sure you know it, quarantine is when you isolate yourself away from others, you have no contact, or when, for example, you're in the hospital, you're kept totally separate from others, no contact with anybody who doesn't have protective gear on to protect themselves from you. Maybe there's plastic around you. Maybe you're in a special room. You are quarantined, verb. You are being quarantined, or you are in, noun, quarantine. You are in quarantine, okay? Eligible means that you can get that. If you're eligible for example, insurance, if you're eligible for example, healthcare, whatever it might be, that means, or maybe you're eligible to receive unemployment, for example, that means that you can. You are in the right position. You meet the requirements to get that. So you are eligible. She was talking about tests. People who are below a certain age who have symptoms are not eligible to get a test. And she's saying that's wrong, and I completely agree. So I think it's a cool video, and I think more people should be like Cardi B. That's my opinion. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe, and don't forget to check out my courses in the links in the description. Okay. What do you guys think about the video? I think it's pretty cool. Hello, Paul. Welcome. Lolly says, in France, some people have lodged complaints against the government. Well, I suppose they have a right to do so, right? She was not afraid. She is a real hip-hop soul. I totally agree. In a nutshell, she said that this whole coronavirus thing is business. She's using business, this whole business. Business is what we can use to talk about this whole thing that we're talking about, all this stuff. We can say that whole business is just a mess. Yes, it's a very terrifying situation. Totally. The USA had plenty of time to get ready. I agree with that as well, Rolfie. We had plenty of time, and we definitely delayed for sure. Way too long. And now, who knows? Reza says, the weather is nice today, though, in New York. I looked outside my window. Yeah, I went out onto the balcony and thought, ooh, what a nice day. But I didn't go out. I was talking to an American yesterday who lives in L.A., and he said even yesterday there were people doing yoga in the park, and they were playing around and riding their bicycles and playing basketball, and he just thought, well, this L.A. is doomed. We're going to see the cases in L.A. go up very quickly, and they just shut the park down yesterday. Finally, they should have shut the park a long time ago. Uh, Alashab? I'm not sure how to say your name. In your point of view, Luke, how much vocabulary do I have to learn to be able to speak freely? Well, there's not a clear number, but I would say it would be a struggle if you didn't at least know 5,000 words, but you probably need 10,000 words at least to really start communicating in general conversations. You can have specific conversations, but once you get up to 10,000, then you can start having more general conversations. Now, it's hard to measure how many words exactly you know, right? The average college graduate, I think, knows about 40,000 words, something like that. A high school graduate maybe knows 25 to 30,000, something like that. This is just what I've heard. So I would say, yeah, probably around 10, but it's not a clear number. It's very fuzzy. Just don't only emphasize words. Don't say, okay, I'm going to learn 10,000 words and then I'm going to try to start speaking. Try as you're learning. Don't make it, first I must do this and then I must do this. That is the thing that prevents people from improving quickly. That is a mistake. First I will do this and then I'm going to start trying. First I need to do this, 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 and this. I need to get ready. The get ready mentality, the get ready way of thinking is not healthy when it comes to language learning. In fact, it is simply a way to avoid your fear of speaking. It is a way to say, well, I don't need to do that thing that's really scary yet. I can spend all my time doing things that make me feel good. I learned 10 words today. I learned 2 sentences today. I watched a movie today and wrote down 50 phrases. Great, but are you not trying to speak? Are you not communicating? Are you not stepping out of your comfort zone because you're really getting ready? Or is it because you're using all of that other stuff you're doing as an excuse to not try? Much better is to hit the ground running. That means you jump into the swimming pool and you start swimming. You jump off the cliff and you see if you can build some wings on the way down. That pressure of, for example, working in a job where you need to use English and then learning words at night when you get home from your job because you wrote down 20 words from your job, that's going to push you to become fluent more quickly. And the sort of, oh, I'll get ready first way of doing it is a lot slower, and I've seen it, in fact, prevent people from ever learning to speak naturally. So I've seen too many examples of it. My advice, start speaking now, even if you only know 2 words. Start right now. Start communicating with people, practicing your speaking, chatting as much as you can, because that's really the first part of getting over that fear of speaking, which is a big hurdle. And once you get over that fear of speaking, then you'll be able to actually use the words that you learn, which is extremely important. Extremely important. Stop thinking, just start. There you go. I agree 100%. Hola, ¿cómo estás? I don't know if that's to me. I don't think that's to me. That's to Maria. Okay. Paul is in self-quarantine. Good. I hope everybody's in self-quarantine. It's a good time to be self-quarantined. I'm self-quarantined with my 2 cats, my wonderful wife, this dinosaur, a bunch of coffee, enough food to last me a year and a half. And so I think I'm okay. I'm practicing right now. Why did I say predicting? See, I make mistakes too. Gotta not be afraid to look like a dummy. I probably look like a dummy 35 times per live stream. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, well, if you guys don't have questions, then that's it, right? Did I? Well, if I ever miss questions, then you got to repost them. Sometimes I don't scroll up all the way, so you have to repost questions. Nectar, what sort of cats do you have? I have 2 American short hair cats, and I want to show you one video I took yesterday because it's kind of a hold on. It's cute. ASMR though. Right, he's eating a cat treat, so I'll show you. Ooh, I wonder if I could just play it for every. Oh, I could play it. Let me send it to my computer, and then I'm gonna actually play it so that you can appreciate the sounds. Okay, this is cat ASMR. Hold on a second. I need to pop it up on here. Give me 1 second, friends, neighbors. Okay, let's see here. I was just sending it from my phone, and then I need to. How do I do this? From downloads. Where's the thing? Hold on, guys. Sorry. Oh, there it is. There we go. Okay. Is it gonna play? Yeah. All right. Good. You ready? This is my cat circle. You ready? Cute, right? Cute cat. The ASMR is, oh, maybe I shouldn't tell you. ASMR is a whole branch of YouTube where people speak very quietly, and they usually whisper, and they eat weird things, or they make strange sounds. They'll like. I'll just give you an example. This is ASMR English live stream. Wait a minute. Let me turn up my volume here. Ready? ASMR live stream. Hey guys, welcome to the. Let me turn it up a little more. Hope you're all having a great night. Welcome to the Cloud English ASMR live stream. This is my friend. His name is Dr. Apotis, and he's a brontosaurus, and he's very smart. He's a doctor. He has a PhD. That's ASMR. Anyway, so. This has turned into a whole branch on YouTube, and some people do ASMR or watch ASMR videos that are hours long. Usually it's not guys, usually it's girls. You know, some sort of very cute girl who's touching all sorts of objects and making weird noises and brushing the microphone and all kinds of weird stuff, whispering. Sometimes they'll do two, so you have a left and a right sound. Then that turned into ASMR mukbang, which is when people just have their lips here, and you see their mouth and a bunch of food, often disgusting food, and they're just making horrible eating noises. Personally, I hate mukbang. It's called mukbang. I think it started in Korea, and they'll do things like eating. It's a cake, but it looks like a sponge. You can search mukbang too. Some people like that. They find it relaxing. I find it gross. I don't like to hear people's mouth noises, chewing, but whatever. People like what they like. This would be mukbang, something like this. Something like that, except it's food. And anyway, do people make money from ASMR? Yes, people. You don't know how much money people make. People who are the big ASMR channels, they make millions of dollars per year. Millions of dollars per year. They make lots of money. because, and Sleepwalker, I agree, I don't really like ASMR or mukbang either. It's very easy to do advertisements with them. They can get a lot of ad revenue from YouTube. They make a huge amount of money. Yes, indeed. Yeah, but I agree with Sleepwalker. I don't like it. I think it's annoying. Sorry I did it. I just wanted to show you what it was. That's the only time I will ever do it. So don't worry, guys. Mukbang, you'll never see me do mukbang ever, never, not in a million years. I will never do it. I won't do it. I refuse. Okay. What does ASMR stand for, though? That's a good question. Let me search that. Well, let me just search. What does ASMR stand for? That's what I don't know. That's a very long word. Autonomous sensory meridian response? On YouTube, autonomous sensory meridian response is relaxing, often sedative sensation that begins on the scalp and moves down the body, also known as brain massage. It is triggered by placid sights and sounds such as whispers, accents, and crackles. All right. So that's what it stands for. I didn't know that. It stands for autonomous sensory meridian response. So when you hear a whisper like this, or you hear a strange crackle or whatever, or maybe this sort of that sound, those kinds of quiet noises, it's supposed to cause a tingling sensation that allows you to feel relaxed or sleep. I don't know. Pizza ASMR. That's not a bad idea. The worst thing about being on lockdown is a lack of pizza. It's a pizza place not far away, which I love, called Danny's Pizza. They're closed now because every business has to be closed, except for non-essential businesses. No, rather, non-essential businesses have to close. And I miss pizza, especially Danny's Pizza. As soon as this is all over, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Danny's Pizza. I'm going to order 2 slices, and I'm going to eat them, and I'm going to enjoy them. And I can't wait, but it's going to be a while. It might be months. I heard they have huge-ass pizza over there in New York. That's true. But in New York, people won't order a whole huge pizza. People order a slice. So you're eating the same amount. You order a slice of pizza. Nobody will order a gigantic pizza for themselves unless they're having a big family party or something like that. Yeah. Any tips about saying double R words like warrant, for example? Not really, no, because they are pronounced exactly the same as any R sound. There is no difference in pronouncing R sounds that are 2 R's compared to 1 R. So, for example, if I say forum, right? Forum, F-O-R-U-M, forum, warrant. 2 R's in warrant and 1 R in forum, right? Is there any difference? Should I say warrant? Should I make it last longer? Nope. It's exactly the same. There is no difference at all. R is R. R is R. In this case, there are examples when R is not R, but that's a different story. I heard you in one of your Udemy lessons say super duper. Super duper often means very good. Oh, that's super duper. That's very good. Or it just means very. So that's super duper interesting. Means that's very interesting. I like to say it because I think it's funny. I think it's kind of goofy. Super duper cool. Super duper neat. So just super duper by itself means great, good, very good. That's super duper. Or that's super duper plus some adjective. Means very that. Yeah, actually that's true for us too. I could get takeaway from Danny's Pizza. I think they're doing takeaway, but I'm scared. I don't trust the guys working at the restaurant. They might be coughing on there's no risks that you can take. I am living in the center of this whole thing in the world, except for people in Italy. Queens, New York is the epicenter right now of this whole business. And I have to be extremely careful. Whenever I go out, I wear surgical gloves. I wear a mask. Now I'm going to start wearing my glasses or sunglasses. I might put these on. I might wear glasses. And I don't wear the same clothes going out that I wear at home. When I touch any surface, I make sure I hand sanitize. When I come home, I spray my coat and my pants with alcohol spray. And so I'm being very, very careful because it spreads super duper easily. And so you have to be extremely careful, especially where I am, especially in Queens, New York. As I said, there are sirens happening everywhere, ambulances all over the place. It's insane. It's crazy. And apparently there are people dying all the time in Queens. It's really scary. It's very scary. It's quite frightening. Well, guys, thanks for all the great questions. I think we're going to call it a day. As I mentioned, if you feel that you have something worth saying, if that makes sense, that will benefit other people who are also learning English. That could be a cultural thing. It could be something about what you do, your job. It could be maybe you're an English teacher and you're learning English. You're a second language English teacher. I would love to talk to someone who teaches English as well, second language English teacher. I would like to maybe, potentially, depends on how the conversation goes and what, the timing and stuff, do an informal Skype interview live, like I did on Tuesday with Luba. I don't know if you guys know this. I know Luba seemed very well prepared, and she answered the questions, for those of you who saw the last live stream, extremely clearly, and like she had prepared. But I messaged her 2 minutes before I started the live stream. Hey, do you want to do this? So I'm not looking for anything formal, no preparation, just a conversation. And I didn't even know that she was available until I had already started, and then she was available. So that's how I want to do it. Very casual, not a big deal, just a call, just a conversation. So just message me privately on WhatsApp if you feel like that's you. I messaged someone before this to ask them if they wanted to do that, and they said no. I'm nervous. I'm too shy to be on camera. So whatever. It's okay. Way to go, Luke. I wish all citizens did the same. Thank you, Rolfie. I appreciate that. Until next time, guys, until next time. Very soon. Probably on Sunday, we'll do another one of these. I might do one instead of at the computer, maybe showing you all my stuff that I have, food and my supplies. Walk around the house a bit. Thanks, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure that you check out the links in the description. And I will see you next time. Join the WhatsApp group. Don't forget to join the WhatsApp group. Very important. All right, guys. See you later.